Emily Grayson never imagined betrayal could come from the two people she trusted most, her boyfriend and her own sister. At 27, she had built a stable life for herself in Seattle, a successful career as a junior partner at a respected law firm, a cozy one-bedroom apartment overlooking Lake Union, and what she believed was a loving, 2-year relationship with Jason Carter. That illusion shattered with a single text from her younger sister, Haley. It was a Monday evening when the message came in, just after Emily wrapped up a particularly grueling client meeting. She glanced at her phone and saw, "We need to talk. It's about Jason. Please don't freak out." The moment Emily read it, her stomach twisted. She didn't reply right away, she called. Haley answered after the third ring, her voice trembling. "I'm pregnant," she said. "And it's Jason's." Silence. Emily felt everything freeze around her, the ticking of the wall clock, the faint hum of city traffic outside, even her own heartbeat. She couldn't process the words. When she finally spoke, her voice was eerily calm. "What do you mean it's Jason's?" Haley broke down in tears. She explained it happened only once, during a weekend when Emily had been out of town for a legal conference. They were drunk. It was a mistake. Jason had since ghosted her. And now, she was 10 weeks along. Emily's hands shook as she hung up. She didn't scream. She didn't cry. She simply sat in silence, staring at the city lights dancing on the water. That night, she packed Jason's things into a trash bag and left them outside her door. But the worst wasn't over. 2 days later, her parents, Tom and Diane Grayson, invited her to a family conversation via Zoom. Emily agreed, hoping for some kind of support. Instead, what she got felt like an ambush. Diane began with a cold expression. "Emily, I know you're upset, but we all need to move forward, for Haley's sake. She's scared and alone." Tom chimed in. "She made a mistake, yes, but she needs us now. And frankly, so do you." Emily narrowed her eyes. "What do you mean, I need you?" There was a pause. Then Diane dropped the bombshell. "We think it's fair for you to help cover the baby's expenses. After all, your choices led to this situation. Maybe if you had been more present in the relationship." Emily slammed her laptop shut. But the true insult came the next day, in an email from her father. The subject line read, "Family contribution request." Attached was a polished, 6-page PDF titled, "Baby Expenses," breaking down estimated costs for prenatal care, baby furniture, diapers, formula, even a college fund starter, totaling over $45,000. Emily couldn't believe her eyes. They were sending her an invoice for a child that wasn't hers. For a betrayal that had gutted her. And yet, the tone of the message was calm, clinical, and guilt-laced. "We know this isn't ideal, but we believe helping Haley is a responsibility we all share. Please review the breakdown and let us know how much you're willing to contribute monthly." She stared at the screen for a long time. Then, slowly, she leaned back and laughed, a hollow, bitter sound echoing through her apartment. They blamed her. Not Jason. Not Haley. Her. That night, something inside Emily changed. For years, she had played the role of the dutiful daughter, the problem solver, the emotional anchor. But now, they had crossed a line. This wasn't just betrayal. This was delusion. She wasn't going to cry anymore. She was going to respond, but on her own terms. Emily stared at the PDF for the third time that morning. She printed it out, thinking it might seem more absurd on paper. It didn't. The document looked like something out of a corporate budgeting meeting. Headers in bold, clean bullet points, neat tables with calculated monthly breakdowns, subtotals, and even a suggested contribution plan. $45,120.33. That was the total cost they expected her to share, more than she had in her savings account. She ran her fingers through her hair, still in pajamas, coffee gone cold beside her. The audacity of it all wasn't what hurt the most. What stung was how calm and transactional her parents had been about it. Not a word about her heartbreak. Not a single sentence acknowledging how deeply she had been betrayed by both her boyfriend and her own sister. Just numbers. Just expectation. Her phone buzzed. A new text from her mom. Have you had time to review the document? We need to finalize things before Haley's next doctor's appointment. Finalize things? Emily tossed the phone onto the couch. That afternoon, she decided to drive out to her childhood home in Bellevue. If they were going to treat her like a business transaction, she would handle it in person, with the same sharpness she used in court. When she arrived, her mother answered the door with a tight-lipped smile, like nothing had happened. Emily, Diane said, thank you for coming. We just want what's best for everyone. Everyone but me, Emily thought. Her father was already seated at the kitchen table, where a copy of the PDF sat between 2 mugs of tea. The absurdity nearly made her laugh again. Tom gestured to the paper. We're not asking you to cover all of it, just your share. Jason is gone. Haley's devastated. She's too young to do this alone. I'm not the father, Emily said coldly. No, Diane replied, but you brought him into our lives. You introduced him to the family. If I hadn't dated him, maybe she wouldn't have slept with him behind my back? Emily snapped. That's what you're saying. A heavy silence fell over the table. Tom sighed. We're not trying to punish you, sweetheart. This is about family responsibility. Emily shook her head slowly, incredulous. You mean enabling your favorite daughter again? Like always. Diane's jaw tightened. That's not fair. No, what's not fair is being emotionally blackmailed after being betrayed by both of you and Haley. And now you want me to foot the bill for her child? I didn't sign up to be this family's ATM. Emily, Tom said sternly, don't be selfish. She stood up. No, she said, her voice rising. Selfish is screwing over your own sister and then sending her an invoice for the fallout. She reached into her bag, pulled out the printed PDF, and slowly tore it in half, letting the pieces fall like confetti on the table. I won't pay a single cent, she said. And if you send me anything else like that again, I'll consider it harassment. Then she looked them both in the eyes and added, You didn't lose Jason. You lost me. She turned and walked out of the house, heart pounding, legs trembling, but she didn't look back. As the door slammed shut behind her, Emily realized this wasn't just about saying no to a ridiculous request. It was the first time she had said yes to herself. The drive back to Seattle was quiet. No music. No podcasts. Just the hum of the tires on the freeway and the storm of thoughts in Emily's head. She kept replaying the scene at the kitchen table. Her mother's tight smile. Her father's disappointed sigh. The way they looked at her like she was the villain in a drama they had helped write. For years, Emily had tried to be the good daughter, the one who went to law school, who never asked for money, who always showed up on time and remembered birthdays. And yet, the moment things got messy, they treated her like collateral damage. Or worse, an ATM. She had never said anything when her parents let Haley get away with everything growing up, skipping classes, wrecking the family car, blowing through college savings on a semester abroad she never finished. Emily had cleaned up her messes more times than she could count. But now they wanted her to clean up ones she hadn't made. And for the first time, she wasn't going to. That night, Emily sat in bed scrolling through old photos on her phone. There were pictures of her and Haley as kids, matching Christmas pajamas, beach vacations, inside jokes captured in blurry selfies. It hurt. Because there had been love there once. Real sisterhood. But something shifted in Haley over the years. She had grown entitled. Reckless. And their parents only encouraged it. Every bad decision was dismissed as a phase, or just Haley being Haley. Emily had stopped counting the number of second chances her sister had been given. This wasn't about a baby. It was about boundaries. She opened her email and reread her mother's latest message. We understand this is emotional, but family means compromise. Haley needs your support, if not financially, then at least emotionally. Please don't abandon us. There was no apology. No acknowledgement of what had been done to her. Just more guilt. 2 days passed. Then came a text from Haley. I didn't want them to send that PDF. I'm sorry. Emily stared at the message. 3 sentences. No explanation. No accountability. Just enough to ease her own conscience. She typed and deleted her response 5 times before settling on. This is bigger than a document, Haley. No reply. Emily spent the weekend thinking about her next move. The hurt was real, but it hadn't broken her. It had clarified something. She didn't owe anyone anything just because they shared her DNA. So she did something she hadn't done in a long time. She took a break from them all. She blocked her mother's number, archived the emails, and muted Haley on social media. It wasn't about being cruel. It was about breathing, healing, protecting herself from further damage. That Monday at work, her colleague and friend Natalie noticed the change immediately. You look lighter, she said. Did something good happen? Emily smiled faintly. Something painful happened. And I finally stopped pretending it didn't. Natalie raised an eyebrow. You want to talk about it? Emily shook her head. Not yet. But I will. Later that evening, Emily sat by her window with a glass of wine, watching the sun dip below the skyline. She thought about the future, about what it would look like if she stopped trying to fix everyone else and started living for herself. Maybe she would travel. Move somewhere warmer. Take that pro bono immigration case she kept putting off. Maybe she'd adopt a dog. Anything but drown in other people's chaos. One thing was certain, she wasn't going back to who she was before that PDF arrived. This wasn't just recovery. It was rebirth. 2 weeks passed without a word from her family. Emily had expected it. Her silence was louder than any response she could have sent. And yet, when she received a message from her father asking if she would attend Haley's baby shower, she felt that familiar pull again. Guilt. Obligation. The ache for family, even when they didn't deserve her. The message was short. We'd like you to come, even if things are tense. It would mean a lot to your sister. No pressure. Dad. No pressure. That was rich. At first, she deleted the text and moved on. But hours later, she found herself pacing her apartment, chewing it over. Maybe she wasn't ready to forgive, but she was ready to be heard. And sometimes, the best way to reclaim your power is to walk into the room they thought you'd never enter again. So she RSVP'd yes. But this time, she was going on her terms. The baby shower was held in her parents' backyard. White folding chairs, pastel balloons, and pink cupcakes on silver trays. It was a perfect scene for Instagram, but beneath the surface, tension simmered. As Emily walked in, heads turned. Haley looked up from her seat near the gift table and froze. Their mother straightened her shoulders. Their father stepped forward. Emily, Tom said carefully, thank you for coming. She nodded once. I won't stay long. Diane tried to smile. Well, we're glad you're here. Emily didn't reply. She walked straight over to the small crowd of guests, politely greeted a few familiar faces, and waited until everyone was seated for Haley's opening remarks. Then, before Haley could begin, Emily stepped forward. Before the gift opening starts, she said, projecting her voice, I'd like to say a few words. Haley's eyes widened. Emily. It'll be quick, she said. I promise. Silence fell. Emily stood with her back straight, chin high. She looked around the yard, at old neighbors, family friends, distant relatives. And then she spoke. 2 weeks ago, I received a document from my parents. A PDF. It asked me to contribute over $45,000 to a child that isn't mine. Not because I'm related to the father. Not because I offered. But because I had the misfortune of being betrayed by my sister and abandoned by the man I loved. A few gasps. Someone dropped a fork. She continued, her voice steady. I was told that my decisions somehow led to this situation. That it was my responsibility to fix it. But let me be clear, I will not pay for other people's choices. I will not be manipulated by guilt dressed up as love. And I will never again apologize for protecting my peace. She turned slightly, looking at her parents. I came today to say this out loud. To draw a line that should have been drawn years ago. Then she looked at Haley. I hope you find joy in motherhood. I truly do. But this baby doesn't need my money. It needs your accountability. And this family won't heal by pretending betrayal didn't happen. She nodded once and stepped back. No one clapped. No one moved. Emily turned and walked toward the gate. As her heels clicked down the stone path, she felt more powerful than she ever had. That night she returned to her apartment, took a deep breath, and smiled. Her phone buzzed. Natalie again. Did you go? Emily typed back. I went. I spoke. I left. Then, after a moment, she added, and for the first time, I feel free.